Alrighty. Well, it looks like we're live once again for something quite a bit different than what we left off with. Y'all know me. I like to change what I'm doing, and oftentimes I don't want to say I get bored, but I get a little bored. So I've decided to pick up a new venture, so to speak, new project. Basically, I'm just going to be trying to create my own video game. Figured it would be something that could actually keep my attention, as there's different moving parts. There's a lot of different pieces, obviously, art, game development, all that kind of stuff that you got to do when solo developing, and it seems like something that interests me. I enjoy making content, so I've decided I'm going to make these devlogs to go alongside with the game development. That way people want to follow along, want to try and learn as I learn, because I'm still very new into all this. And hey, by all means, do what you want to do. So we are going to shrink this back down and move it to the side. Blairy, welcome. Long time no see, man. Hope you've been well. I'm gonna scooch that over to the side. I'm gonna scooch this over to the side. And get on this. Doesn't fit exactly over there. I wonder if I full screen this. Let's see. Oh no, I can't do this in full screen. I guess we'll just have a little border there. I'll figure out what to do with the border later. Y'all can see everything yet? Okay, cool. Well, I guess it's better to have the border on the bottom, because that's where the play marker and all that kind of stuff is going to be at. So there we are. Been well. That's good to hear, man. Hope your fam's been well. No, last I heard from you, you're like throwing a birthday party and had gone bowling. Gotta turn down this music a little bit. But yeah, so I'm not going to dive into everything that I've done so far outside of explaining what I'm currently working on, because it's a lot. You know, I've already gotten into the actual game development of this game, and so we're not starting from square one, though I did just recently restart on this project and start over. So, and it may not appear that way just because how much progress is done, but I'll show the here's, the whys, the hows of that here in a bit. So essentially, what I'm trying to create is a simple card game. I enjoy card games. I enjoy roguelikes and deck builders. So I got inspired by, Slay the Spire. I think I have like 700 hours, 800 hours, something like that in the game. And I really enjoy it. And obviously right now this looks a lot like it, which it'll change as far as a lot of the gameplay mechanics. But for the here's and the nows, it's easier to have a basis and then move from that basis. So it works very similar. We have our hero, our character. In this case, it's going to be Zombie Caesar. We'll get around to that in a bit. We have our enemy, which for right now I only have one in the game, but we do have others that have already been created and fleshed out, blah, blah, blah. And then we have our cards, right? And again, some of them are placeholders as far as images goes, like this Toxophobia. Some of them are completed arts as far as Caesar's Infected Dagger and what it does, right? Dealing damage, applying poison. The numbers probably subject to change, but most of what the effects do will probably remain pretty much equal to what they are now. So yeah, very similar. You take out the enemies, you can get coins, you get card rewards, which for right now, again, some of these are placeholders, but some of them are actually fully fleshed out functions. So the concept's pretty simple. You start on the left side of the map, you move to the right side, you deal with enemies, and as they get dealt with, you get new cards, new abilities based on those cards. And eventually you can go to things like shops, all that kind of yada yada. We'll try and move through a couple of these real quick. And let's see, that's an elite, and then there's story, and there's a shop there. So we'll go this way, see if we can't take on an elite. We may not be able to. I'm just gonna you know, level it with you here. But we'll try. I've not tested all the values. It's good to hear that your fam's well, by the way. I read that and I just never responded, and that felt a little wrong of me, so. So we'll do this and then that. We might be able to defeat him. I mean, he's down to half health already. Again, I've just not done any actual practical testing of numbers and all that with the old system, and I'll explain more about what that is here in a minute. So let's just try and power through them. Some things are going to happen here. It's okay. We're going to take some damage. I think we'll be able to get him here. Dealt 10 damage. That's good. And that should finish him there. Cool. So there's also artifacts, much like in Slay the Spire, that do various types of things. Bag of Holding, you retain your mana in between turns, much like the Ice Cream Cone. You have summons, unlike in Slay the Spire, to some degree. You can actually summon this, that, and the other. That's just another one of these. If you're wondering why I always have the same starting hand, we can get into that in a bit as well, but we're going to skip those rewards. And yeah, there's a shop system to where you can buy stuff. It is all laid out very nicely. And that's the general overview. Just move left to right, go through different encounters. There's going to be story bits to it, obviously, and a bit of exploration as we sort of explore different historical events. This, for instance, is going to be the Battle of the Nile. I have Battle for the Nile right now. I've just got to change that syntax. But basically the idea is this is Julius Caesar's campaign through Egypt, although we're playing it as though he's already been assassinated and is now back from the dead and is now commanding, you know, his army through that means. So that is sort of the slice of the Falthis world that we are in this current instance. Falthis, as an overview, is going to be sort of a world built and a universe built around the idea of fantasy meets alternative history. So the idea of Zeus being alongside in the Civil War, or you know, Napoleon having fire mage abilities, this kind of stuff, where it's very much still alternative history. The battles, the fights, that kind of stuff still happen. However, who's involved, what's involved, what happens, that stuff may be a little subject to change. Obviously, this is loosely based on history, so please don't take any of this as what I say as true fact, or, you know, this is that. However, that being said, Julius Caesar did have a campaign in Egypt where he did fight, wasn't a pharaoh actually, I believe it was a relative of Cleopatra? I can look it up real quick, I have it over here. Ptolemy the 8th? 13th? The 13th. I know how to read Roman numerals. So yeah, that's basically what it will be detailing here in this singular instance. My idea is to have them move through floors. Basically, we're going to have different heroes, different characters. Our base one that we're working on now is Zombie Caesar. But the different characters will have different starting locations, different secondary locations, and then a same final location where they will fight the big boss, whatever that may end up being for the game, which I do have a pretty good idea on what it'll end up being, so it's just a matter of putting everything into place. What's up, fishing with Willie? Okay, it took me a little bit. Hope everything is going well for you. So yeah, what I've been currently working on and what we're going to be diving into today is basically just fleshing out some more cards. I have this data table here, which has a lot of cards that were already pre-baked into this package, and I'll get into that now as far as what this package is. If you're interested, how you can go about doing something similar, yada, yada, yada. So I am using the Unreal Engine 5, if you couldn't tell from the U up here or any of the UI elements. I've worked with Unreal Engine 4 way back in the day, did the whole Kismets and all that before it became Blueprints. I've come back around to it because it's just something that I touched, you know. I tried looking into all the game development software, Unity, Godot, Unreal, and honestly, it doesn't matter when you're starting out. It really doesn't. You pick your preference and you go with that. As far as pricing goes, none of them matter until you make enough money that it matters. In which case, hey, cool beans, you're there. So, that in mind, I'm just going to use the one that I like to use, even though we are going to be creating a 2D game for the large majority. There may end up being some 3D elements if I can get the coding correctly implemented. So, now, speaking about the package that I'm using, let me see if there's an easy way for me to display this. There should be. Hold on, I have an idea. So, those of you familiar with Unreal, you'll know that you can get your assets from the Epic Games launcher in the Unreal section, right? You go into the marketplace. Every month, they give away free assets, in which case, scoop them up. They're usually pretty nice and well worth it, you know, in case you're a game dev person, by the way. The current package that I have, the current asset, is called the Roguelike Deck Builder Toolkit. It's very handy, very useful. It gives you a ton of stuff to go off of, and I have no way to link it here. That's questionable. Sorry, I'm on the actual Epic launcher. You know what I can do though is I can just show it to you. Put it on this monitor. Pull this over here. And we'll pop up the left monitor. So here we have the Unreal Engine marketplace. This is what it's called, Roguelike Deck Builder Toolkit by I believe it's Knut Overby. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. But yeah, essentially it has a lot of fleshed out systems already in place for building a roguelike deck builder, such as Slay the Spire. So a lot of this is coming from this, and we're basically tweaking, editing, customizing, adding, changing, whatever. And this is more so what we're looking at now with the 2D, right? So all that being said, this is what I'm working on. This is where you can get it if you're interested, if you're a game developer. Ooh, voice crack. And y'all have to excuse me. It's been a minute since I've just talked, you know, non-stop like this. So my voice may give out. All right, so we will move back to what we're doing here. Never tried Slay the Spire. Oh, it is a beautiful game, and if you're someone that likes card games to any regard, I would say definitely give it a go. And if you're someone that doesn't like card games, you know, I might still give it a go. Uh-oh, what's happened here to my Unreal? Isn't captured? It's just black screen. There, hold on. Window. There it is. Okay. It's giving me Blender flashbacks. I've worked with Blender. I do, I've worked with most software as far as creatively goes. Bigger names at least as far as audio, video, photo. I like to dabble. I like to try. So here's one of the cards that I've just recently made. Basically, it's called Toxicophobia. It's the fear of toxins, fear of poison, that kind of stuff. Saw it on your Xbox. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a pretty chill play. I imagine it wouldn't be too difficult on console. It's just selecting targets. So basically, it deals damage equal to what we set within the card effect, which would be 10. If target enemy has poison, add 1 fear, or add the value here in the second card effect. Oh, if I can open it. Right here, effect value. Add that back as fear to target enemy. Basically exactly what the description says. And if you're interested in learning this system specifically and all of these aspects, if you're not familiar with Unreal, if you're not familiar with creating games, I do recommend checking out Gnut's tutorial, which you can find linked on the asset page there that I just showed you, as well if you just look it up on YouTube. It's the Roguelike Deck Builder Toolkit tutorial. And I don't think there will be very many of those, so, you know, you can probably find it pretty easily. When in history will it be set? So it's actually going to take different slices of history for each character. So, for example, right now we're working with Zombie Caesar. It's going to focus primarily on his escapades and little journey there through Egypt, just because I like the idea of being able to use alien pharaohs as an enemy and potentially flipping the story back around in future endeavors, so you could play as the alien pharaoh facing off against Zombie Caesar. So I'm just liking to leave that option open. Is this like a data-driven type thing? I'm not sure what that means. I'm creating most of the data, or using one thing that also is a key feature with this game is I'm using a lot of AI for the art. So a lot of the card art here that you see, which is why I'm planning on making it free, at least as of right now. If anything, might just use contributions to help fund it, but pay is not something I like to discuss, and something that'll probably be up in the air for quite some time. But the game's so far out from final production that it's like I don't even want to discuss pay. But yeah, so it's all going to be created. Hold on, wife's calling. No code. So I'll show you the code that I'll be using. I won't be using C#, which is what Unreal Engine uses as its code. I'll be using the Blueprint system, but it'll look something like, I'm trying to find something that'll be pretty simple to explain. Okay, here we go. This is as basically how you. Okay, I thought that was going to be simpler than that. Let me find my poison. Okay. So it'll be a blueprint system much like this, which may look a little confusing. Oh, C++. That's right. Sorry. You know, you would think that somebody would end up coming along and using a different letter eventually. But yeah, so I'll be using the blueprint system. For those of you that haven't seen it, it looks something similar to this, where essentially you use nodes in order to get the code, but it is very much the same as if you coded it out. Played around. Yeah, I'm visually better than I am reading and writing, if that makes sense, so it just works better for me. But essentially what this is saying here is on turn start, we'll ignore this for right now. Get the target, right? Get whoever we're selecting. Get the value that we've set in here, right? So the effect value of 5, and subtract the health from that target. Is essentially right, because it's poison. So take the value that we set and subtract the health from the target. Pretty simple. And it applies it as a status, so essentially it'll be stuck on that character. Following that, it wants to subtract one value of the poison status. So if we have it set to 5, right, we're going to add 5 poison to the enemy. Turn goes on, it's going to drop down to 4. Y'all give me just 1 minute, I'll be right back. Gotta go help the wife bring in, I think, the kids and maybe some groceries, but we'll keep going, so hold on.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. Cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right?
All right, we are back. So yeah, wife and kids just got home, just helping them get in the door. And a solid drink of water. So we need to come up with, or I need to come up with, another 14, 9 to 14 more cards. We have 16 right now for Caesar specifically. I would like to have him sitting around 25 to 30 as far as playables for him individually. Again, these are all the ones that come sort of pre-baked with the kit, and sure, you can use them as sort of a base to work off of, or you can use them entirely if you want to, but trying to figure out cards that would essentially fit him as a character. He is primarily centered around poison and summon effects. Speaking of which, let me get all of these organized together. Might make things a bit easier. Okay, so I think that's all that. These are the two basics here. Let's actually put the basics at the very top. Bone wall. And then what else? We have Exploding Corpse is kind of one of the basics. And Graveyard Protector, I think, is going to be the other one. It's going to be his, like, starting power. Okay, and then from here... This is just a gain armor, get a card from discard. Okay, and that's poison as well. So from 42 to 49 is all poison cards. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Was that 8? 8 cards for poison. If we have 25 or 30 total, that'd be about a third of them dedicated to poison. Third to a fourth. Well, I will probably leave poison where it is for right now, and I do want to focus some on summons. So let's see. Currently have the Exploding Corpse, the Undead Legion, and the Plague Priest. The Undead Legion essentially will summon this minion, which is called the Undead Legion, which we have a data table for minions as well. So if we look here, these are basically a list of all of the not necessarily enemies, but for lack of better comment, enemies, right? These could also be what we summon, so it's not necessarily just what our enemies are. It could be minions of our own. But any hoosers. So here we have the Plague Priest, 20 health, 10 armor. The puppet is basically what he looks like, and I'm just using the sort of given puppets for right now, just because I don't want to go through and do all of that pixel work just quite yet. So if we come in here, we can see this is what our little god looks like, or what our paper puppet wizard looks like. So this music is just a little too intense for me. So yeah, close out of him, and I'm thinking, so the Exploding Corpse pretty much takes itself out. That's basically one of its moves. We come here to attack patterns. This has all of the basically attack combinations for each creature. So if we take a look at Exploding Corpse, it says get this card from our minion card data table, which is over here. Basically, it's just a data table that also contains cards, much like this contains our Zombie Caesar cards. This contains all the cards that our enemies or our minions could potentially use. So here we have the Corpse Explosion card, which is going to be used by our Exploding Corpse minion. What this is an attack, targets enemies, and it deals damage. So what this does is 30 attack damage to all valid targets, which basically just means all of the enemies. We could also do all opposing. Doesn't really matter there. I've not seen too much of a difference. I'm sure the all valid targets, we could change that if we wanted to add a specific tag or identifier in order for it to not deal damage to people that have armor or whatever, you know. And then moving on down, we have the second card effect. So each index is kind of like an effect on the card. So the first one, deal 30 damage to all the enemies. Second effect, deal 30 damage to itself, right? Targeting card owner. And yeah, again, I'm moving pretty fast through all this, but the idea that I could bring you up to speed on where I'm currently at in this process and in this project is just a little unrealistic as far as doing it over the course of a single blip episode where I'm trying to actually get some work done as well. So, hope everything is kind of making sense. Hope you're able to follow along to some slight degree. So we got through that. So basically what I want to do is either figure out a way to buff the minions, which is going to be pretty difficult. Although, I could just buff their attack, right? Give strength to all minions. If I had a status. This music's really loud. Right. That's better. So, status. Statuses are essentially like armor, health, mana, right? It's like active effects, powers. If you've played Slay the Spire, essentially a power is just an effect that stays. It remains through each turn. Your turn, enemy's turn, back to your turn. You still have that power. So what I'm essentially thinking for this ability, it would be a status that you give to yourself, so power, and it would double the effectiveness, quote unquote, of all minions. The hiccup is you have the Plague Priest, which deals poison, and then you have the other minions, which deal attack damage. So what I like to do to start out with is come in here to statuses, and we'll just grab a status that's kind of similar. So we'll grab the Thorn status. This is also one that I recently worked on. Duplicate it, and we'll call this minion minion strength. Right? Minion add strength. The problem is strength is already used as a term, so I'm trying to not use strength. And we'll just call it effect value. Minion effect, add effect value. It don't have to be pretty. No one's going to see this. I especially doesn't have to be pretty given I misspelled it there. Okay, so starting out here, we want to do this every turn start. We'll check this tag. And basically what we'll do on turn start, to BP minion. So we want to cast to this other script, essentially cast to this other blueprint. As this other blueprint, we want to get the minion track, right? The minion track is just essentially, if we take a view in the arena, The arena is essentially where we do battle, right? So we have our background here, and then we have our monster tracks, or as it's called in the blueprints, minion tracks. So don't get confused by the two. Monster track is a minion track, just with a different nomenclature or a different name. So essentially you can see this green outline box. That is, well, now it's yellow, but that is where our players and our minions spawn. And the other one here on the right, that is where the enemies spawn. This background is just a 2D background that I whipped up using, what is it called? Sprite, which is a good pixel art creator. If you haven't seen it before, then I do recommend checking it out. But, she went to play in it. Cancel. Yeah, okay, because it's basically just saying that we haven't resolved this. That's fine. Yes, I still want to play. So that's not going to affect anything. So when I hit play, you can see it zooms in. We have our character on the left, enemy character on the right. Our minions spawn on the left here with us. If there was additional enemy minions, they would spawn over here on the right. So that's pretty much all of that. All right, so on turn start, cast to the blueprint for minions and get the minion track that we're currently on, right? Calling object. And what we can do is probably just go ahead and cancel. Well, cancel all of those. Okay. And we won't be subtracting any status value. We can leave that because we'll probably end up using that here in a bit. So we want to get the minion track. We want to get all the minions on said minion track, right? We don't want to select the actual track. We want to select the minions. So minions. Then we want to add to, maybe not be able to do that as that. Add to status. Is that it, or is it status amount? Let me see. Get status, add to status, subtract from status, set status, add status value. Interesting. Target is BP status minion, add effect value. Yeah. Oh, so no, this one adds just specifically this status value. Okay, so let's go back to status. No, this might be able to do it. We'll just target. Get, can I break this? No. For each loop with break? No. We need to get their attack pattern data. So let's see, how can we call to their cards? D2 cards, minions. So yeah, we might get card effect value. Get effect class, get effect targeting, get effect use data, get effect value. Card effect. Wait a minute. Okay. So this gets the minions from our current minion track. This gets the card effect value from a card. That's all that it says right now, is get the effect value from a card. Basically, we're going to want to take that effect value. Effect value. Trying to think if just multiplying it by 2 is really the best idea. So like we were to multiply 2. That essentially takes whatever card effect value we give it, like an attack or something along that lines, and then just multiplies by 2. This is add to status. What we need is I mean, just giving them strength would be okay, but again, it wouldn't affect all minions. Might need to go back to the drawing board with this. Because having the Plague Priest is basically the problem that I'm coming across. The Plague Priest has a different set of attacks than the Exploding Corpse and the Undead Legion, and the fact that these two use a base raw attack, and the Plague Priest actually applies poison. So whenever we take a look at their card effects, this is a BP card effect attack, so it just reads the card effect to attack for the effect value. To whereas for the Plague Priest, it's reading add status, add this amount of this status, add it. So I'm basically trying to target both of those at the same time, which should be fun. We should just be able to get the card effect value, which I've done from cards minions, but also have to get it from basically the appropriate minions attack pattern. So as the minions, we want to look at their attack patterns. Is there a way for me to simply get that? Data table. Let me try and think of another blueprint that potentially calls upon a data table. Actually, you know what? I can think of one. The cards rewards data table. So cards, they're going to be in here. Cards rewards. Yeah, this one I know for sure gets called upon. So, is that? No. So a lot of this, as you've probably noticed in game dev now, is just trial and error, looking, seeking, finding, adjusting. So let's see. Next to be status. Alright, so this that I'm going to here is basically the blueprint that controls the current game instance. Not mean to add that new variable. This actually sets the reward tables. So this just adds an array and grabs that array from save game. Okay. We'll probably have to come back to this because without me adding each individual one, it's going to be very hard for me to specify how to add two, at least with my current knowledge on calling objects. So we'll come back around to that, the idea of buffing everyone's damage essentially all at once for this summons. What we could do is potentially give them all armor. Let's see. Just take bone wall, duplicate that. What do we call this? We'll just call it bone armor for now. We can always change the title later. Alright, so add armor to, and this says add armor to you, basically add armor to Caesar. Let's add armor to Caesar and all summoned minions. And we'll put this to $20, which is a little steep, but it's only for one turn, then it dissipates. Then technically you could theoretically get 2 attacks out of your exploding corpse, which in my opinion is pretty cool, being able to have that effect, or that ability rather. So we'll add 20, not to the card owner, rather if I do all valid targets, on all minions with matching tags. Okay. That is for sure what I want to do. How do I set the tags though? Would that be here? Card tags. No, that ain't it. Flag tags. No. Pile tags, rarity tags. Target tags, perhaps? Ally. Okay, let's try this out, because I believe all of ours are set to ally. Exploding corpse, ally. Okay, and then just for the sake of this, we will make sure that it only costs 1. Or actually, we'll make it cost 0.
I found a picture we took many years ago. When I said to you we would never grow old. Messages I've saved that I never send, 'cause I don't know you, but I used to back then. I remember that I was drunk out my mind when we kissed for the first time. In the back of your car we passed out counting stars. Promised all these years we'd pack our things and disappear. I never thought I would see you here after all this time. Found yourself a way out of this small town. Got a place at school you didn't hang around. Every day you're far away, these streets don't feel the same. Everywhere is painted with your name. I remember that I was drunk out my mind when we kissed for the first time. In the back of
Actually, you know what? Let's leave this the same. Let's take the troll back off. Okay, so now if we use our exploding corpse and bone armor, it should be able to survive the turn. No, still dealt 30 damage. I wonder if it's because it's not happening until armor is actually removed and it's back onto its turn. Let's see. That. Yeah, it's already lost the armor by the time it's back to its turn. Interesting. It's because armor does dissipate, I think, whenever it comes back to your turn. For instance, if I end the turn here, whenever it comes back to player start, armor disappears. Let's see.
somebody out there. If I didn't chase you, would you even care? And if I lost my mind,
Yeah, event turn start, set armor to 0.
I will keep you safe and sound.
So what we could say is set armor to 0 unless they're a minion, right? So branch, basically say is false, because if it's, we want to check the condition. Yeah, BP minion. Gameplay tags, if it has the gameplay tag. Yeah, gameplay tags. What did I just say? Ally, right? That's the gameplay tag we're looking for. Has all tags. Is this gonna work? Actor has tag, and we just set this to ally. So basically this says at turn start, if the actor is an ally, don't do anything. If they're not an ally, set it to 0. All right, we got to cast to this, so we'll just do from here to there, to there. Right, calling object. That. There we go. Okay, so what is this status? Armor, we're going to leave it pretty much the same. We'll see if we can get this working on our first test go here. Rarely does it ever happen like that, but you never know. Nope, didn't work. Alright. And really I should be doing this in another status besides armor. That way, if I mess up on something, I don't mess up my entire game code, but that's okay. Okay, so this didn't work. Alright, because our actor definitely has the tag of ally. Actor has tag. Or is it lowercase maybe? Let's see. No? It is a gameplay tag though, so we should definitely be able to call for that. So let's see. Target. If they don't have it, then don't do anything. If they do have it, then set it to 0. Okay.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to.
I component my tag.
You said
Component
I was the
special.
only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us.
Oh, hold on. Give me 1 minute, guys.
Focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
Okay, so here we have get the gameplay tags, has tag, and we just want to set what this tag is. So tag ally. So don't believe our character has the ally tag. Let me check. Being data, minions, heroes. We do have the target. Oh, so we actually have all the same tags as our minions. Is there a tag that we can give them that's seamless that we could sort of just use to do this? Flag. I don't want to flag it as specific just in case there's something else that is flagged as specific, if that makes sense. What all are we using ally for? Status armor. Oh, damn it. Go back. Minions, monsters. So it's literally just using armor. Where at in armor? Or is it just where I'm sitting there targeting it currently? That seems to be it. Okay, so we might be okay to take that off. Let's see. Okay, so that still worked. It worked. He's still alive. We're still alive. We still got everything. So for now, that will be how we deal with that. And until it becomes a problem, I basically won't worry about it. You know what? Let's just add another tag. I don't know why I removed that tag. When in doubt, add a tag. Don't remove a tag. So here, we'll go back. We'll add ally. And then here, we need to get to our targeting tags. Target tags. Okay, because these are just like information holders, essentially. So what we'll call this is summoned, right? Target our summoned minions. Summoned. Okay, so then what we can do is we can come back into our minions, not the minions, the monsters, and we'll add this specific target. Should be there, yeah. Did I save it? Maybe I didn't save it. Where are we at? Summoned. Okay, there it is. So boom, target summoned. So exploding corpse. What else? We have the undead legion summoned. Plague priest summoned. Cool. So if we come back into our armor status now, and we change this from ally to summoned, should all work the same without us having to lose the tag of ally from Caesar, just in case we ever need to target ourselves included. This should still work. So there we go, and yep, boom. Now this means that all of our minions keep all of their armor throughout turns. That might not be something we're interested in. Might be something we are interested in. As of right now, seems like a fun concept. Minions retain armor. And maybe we can play on that somehow. I need to... This is something that I've been meaning to do for a while, but I need to limit the card effect of summon. Oh, actually, I don't need to mess with this one. And we're done with that for right now. We're good on that, I think. All right. There. Now I know that this is something that I added on to what already existed. Okay, so I have that all done. And then, yeah, I needed to work on the actual summoning. So we'll take this summon, duplicate it. Calling it summon 2 for now is fine. Resolve card effect. So essentially just says get the minion, get the targeted minion, right? The minion that we specify, and add it to the minion track. But what we want it to do instead, we want it to do all of that, but from here, we want to branch. And a branch just is basically an if, a true false statement, right? If true, do this. If false, do this. If then. Which, I mean, you can use these in literally Microsoft Excel, so. So, the condition that we want to do, as BP minion, as minion track, we want to get the number of minions. Equals 3. Then we want this to happen. So if it doesn't equal 3, we want that to happen. If it does equal 3, we want this to happen. And actually, this should be a equal to or greater than. If it is, or less than. Equal, less than or equal to. Three. I mean, really, you could do this either which way. It doesn't matter. So, if we have less than or equal to 3 minions, add a minion. Or sorry, this should be 2 then. If we have less than or equal to 2 minions, add a minion. If we have 3 or more, then don't add a minion. And instead, print string. We want to say minion limit reached. All right, that's pretty simple. Now to try this real quick, let's go back to Dex. Let's take Exploding Corpse. We will copy, paste this so we have it 4 times within the deck. Save it. We'll go back to Zombie Caesar's cards. Where is our Exploding Corpse? Right there. We'll make the cost And I've been muted this whole time. More than likely since I had the 0 key, because that's set up on my mute. I'll have to remember that. So I'm not sure how long I've been muted for, but just to recap what I just did in terms, instead of just showing you, essentially made it to where we can only summon 3 minions, right? 1, 2, 3, minion limit reached. So that's what we're trying to do. Cool beans. We've added another limitation to the player. But it means essentially now we can create as many summons, right, summoning effects as we want, and it won't affect us because we don't have to worry about, oh, well, the player's just going to have infinite and it's going to push them off screen and mess with everything, you know? It'll be very limited now. Or controllable, I guess I should say, is the best word for it, right? Controllable. So we have an exploding corpse, we have an exploding minion, we have a standard minion, right? Attacks and gets defense. We have a poison minion, which kind of goes with the rest of our kit. I think we either need like a defensive minion, something to block us a little bit, or something along those lines. I like the idea of having a tank minion though, so duplicate this Call of the Legion. Rename it to they just changed to zombie. We'll just call it zombie tank for right now. I'm dudding as far as names go. Oh, right, this one can't have a space. Call it zombie tank there. Leave it as the same picture. Summon limited 3. And then we got to basically create this minion. I always like to work backwards. Don't ask me. Alright, so we already have this open. Here it is. We'll take the Undead Legion, duplicate it, and we'll give this thing like 50 armor. And remember, armor doesn't dissipate for summoned things, so it'll be able to keep us boosted for quite some time. As far as the puppet goes, I guess we'll leave it as the wizard that was off. And then attack component, attack patterns. Duplicate, we'll call this a zombie tank. And right now it just has a simple attack and defense. Do we want to make it only defense or make it do something like a Thorns effect? I think Thorns and maybe just defend itself every turn, like defense for 5, and then it has a Thorns effect, right? So we will delete that, and then it has the Legion block effect. How much does this block for? 10? It's a little too much. Duplicate, rename, zombie tank. Zombie tank block. So now that we have that card created, we can come back to attack patterns. We'll find zombie tank block. We'll just set it to 10 for right now for testing purposes. Okay, then we'll need to rename this here. I thought I'd already... Oh, shoot. I want to delete it. Thought I'd already renamed it. Zombie tank. Zombie tank. There we go. So now if we come back to Zombie Caesar's cards and we call the tank in the minions monsters. Come back to decks and we add zombie tank here. We can actually test it out real quick. Summon a zombie tank to fight for you. Exhaust. There it goes. It has 50 armor, 30 health. This says 10 strength. I just haven't changed the tooltip yet. But when he attacks for 10, it should deal 10 damage back to him. I've not dealt any damage. I'm not going to deal any damage. So let's see. There it is. 10 damage. Now, one thing that I did notice is everybody kept their armor. Right? It wasn't just him. I kept my armor. He kept his armor. But when he attacks, it is attacking the armor, right? 10 down to 40, add 5. Yeah. Interesting. All right, so is this armor? Oh, did I close out our armor? All right, let's see. Yeah, because this should... As BP minion. Oh, duh, I'm not patching the condition back in. Duh. Alright, so has tag summoned. If false, set it to 0. If true, do the thing. Let's try this again. Alright, that works. He no longer has armor. I no longer have armor. This guy still has armor. So again, 10, and that should kill him. Yep. Cool. Easy as 1, 2, 3. All right. All right. So that's probably where we're going to call it for today, ladies and gents. I hope you have enjoyed this little insight into game development, at least for Falthis. There's a lot of different games out there. There's a lot of different development styles, crafts, all that kind of stuff out there. You know, you do whatever you want to do. This is currently what we're deciding to do us ourselves. We could also, by the way, I'm pretty sure this is what you initially start with on the arenas, like a 3D arena. But I wanted to do 2D, very, very flat 2D, essentially. Which we may update this in the future. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. If you want to know how to support it, check out the description of the video. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of the game development here on the channel. I'll obviously be doing some of it off camera. I'm not sure if we'll do other extra videos with game development as far as me taking you through this or that with it. But there is going to be a Falthis announcement trailer here very soon in the near future. Thinking like tomorrow or the next day kind of thing. So, again, just if you want to support, check out the description, subscribe here to the channel, or subscribe over on the Falthis channel, which I'm still getting things rocking and rolling for that, but that's just essentially going to be the official channel for the game. An easy place I can centralize most, if not all, official material for it. So, thanks again, everybody. Hope to see you in the next one. And until then, take care, stay safe, stay awesome. As per the usual, stay crafty. Peace.